Let's go once more here at Thruxton. It's been a great day so far. Stand by, because round 11 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship is about to begin. The green flag is waved from the rear. The red lights are about to come on after the 5-second board has been held aloft. 16 laps of racing to look forward to. The revs rise, the lights come on, and we go racing once again. It's a good start from both on the front row, but look back to Ash Sutton in fourth place. He's made a great start. He's going to go through both of them for third and second. He's going to be up into second place. He's going to be into the lead. Ash Sutton's got no problem this time round. He's gone ahead of Tom Ingram already, and he's going to lead the pack from fourth on the grid down towards the complex.
Yeah, that's right. Ash Sutton, the king of the starts this year, after some great starts last time out. There's a touch behind him between Ingram and Cook, so that means the two other Napa cars go either side of Josh Cook through the middle of the complex. But it's Sutton that leads, Ingram second. Josh Cook has managed to hold the other two back, so he's still there in third position. And Jake Hill's coming around the outside of both the Napa Dans round Noble Corner. I think Jake Hill's done it up into fourth.
He certainly has, yes. So a great start for the BMW as well on this occasion. He's managed to hold that position. Earlier on, he did find himself a little bit further down at the end of the first lap. But a storming start for Ash Sutton. The four-time champion is almost 4 car lengths, if not 5 car lengths ahead already on this first lap of Tom Ingram. So he works his way through Church for the first time. Look a long way in the distance, and you will see Tom Ingram somewhere in second place in the Hyundai. But behind that, we've got more side-by-side action as Adam Morgan now is about to make a move on what looks to be Dan Rowbottom down towards the club chicane for the first time. But it's Ash Sutton that leads the way. Ingram sits second. Josh Cook in the Honda Civic in third place. Fourth place after a great start for Jake Hill in the BMW. A few further back go across the apex of the club chicane, one of those being Charles Rainford, as he tries to make a few places up on the end of the first lap. But Ash Sutton at the end of that lap, a blinding start to the race.
That's right, and Tom Ingram trying to chase after him, locks up as they go into Campbell. That was sort of a feature of the race earlier on for Tom Ingram, but he's still there in second place with a gap to the car behind of Josh Cook. So no sort of big challenges in that lead group. It's Sutton, Ingram, Cook, Hill, Rowbottom and Adam Morgan up to 6th. And a big loser on lap 1, Dan Camish, down to 7th.
Yeah, so he has lost places. He did that in race 2 at Snetterton as well, but of course that was due to the tyres. Here might be a replay of what happened for Camish. He got a little bit Larry through at the exit of Church, and with that it was Adam Morgan who was able to pull himself alongside, so up he went the place and took it away. But for now, Ash Sutton out front continues to extend this gap over the rest of the pack. 8 tenths it was at the end of the first lap, but already it looks like we're almost over a second, if not a little bit more, by the time they come through the club chicane on this occasion. So whatever the team have done to that car, it seems to be immensely quicker than it was at the end of race number 1. Dan Camish takes the shortcut through the chicane. He will rejoin where he was, I believe, in 7th position, just behind Adam Morgan. But a little bit more of a relaxed feel to it at the minute, as the fight for second place is the one to watch at the minute.
And that previous lap for Ash Sutton, a new lap record, half a second quicker than he went 1 year ago here at Thruxton, a 1 minute 15.254. And then basically everyone else is in a line for second place, but 1.8 seconds behind Ash Sutton is Tom Ingram in P2. Then you get Cook and Hill pretty close together, so Jake Hill putting the pressure on to Josh Cook. So Cookie, who was sort of untouchable in pace in the earlier race, is the one who's coming under pressure at this stage from Jake Hill.
And Tom Ingram on that previous lap was almost a second slower than Ash Sutton, so that is an immense amount of time to be slower around this 2.3 mile circuit here at Thruxton. So I don't know what has really happened to Tom Ingram, but he is struggling. He is though pulling away from Josh Cook, so he hasn't got the speed, but he's quicker than those behind at the minute. So Tom Ingram remains in second. Jake Hill might be the next one to try and have an attack on the rear of our third place driver Josh Cook. The BMW looking good, has run well here in previous years.
I think there's a Hyundai possibly off at Church Corner, Matt.
Church Corner, okay, yeah, there's one that's spun. That would possibly be Tom Chilton by the looks of it in terms of the colours. So I think Chilton will drop down the order at the end of this lap. We wait for him not to come through, and yeah, Chilton is the one who's lost it at Church. Thanks, Josh.
That's okay. Everyone else avoided him, which was the sort of the heart in the mouth moment for a few seconds. But Tom Chilton's day hasn't gone really to plan whatsoever. Here's Mikey Doble. He's gaining positions. He is up into to 16th position. He's just got past Ronan Pearson, so good progress from Mikey Doble as he makes his way through the order. But Ash Sutton, well, the lead came down by a very small fraction to Tom Ingram. So Ingram, try and close back in on the race leader. The gap 1.7 seconds. Yeah,
and it might be that Ingram's just looking after the tyres in the early stage. We know how...
I wonder, sorry to interrupt, guys, I wonder if there was a problem that caused Tom Chilton to have that moment, very high speed moment. He's into pit lane and is, I think, getting a complete new set of tyres.
Yeah, I was just about to mention tyres. I said how abrasive this circuit could be. So I'm just wondering if Tom Chilton's looking after the tyres. Of course, with the temperature rising from what we had earlier on in race number 1, he might just want to look after them to be able to use them in the second half of this race. So with Sutton making a good start and gapping the rest of the field by a couple of seconds, it might come back to the rest of the field as we head towards the latter stages. So that might be something that Ingram is thinking about. But for now, the gap out front continues to come down.
Yeah, possibly. Josh Cook had that same thought process because he's going quicker than the top two now. Is Josh Cook the only driver on that lap in the 1 minute 15? So the Honda Civic Type R driver going back after the top two at this stage of the race. So it's Sutton from Ingram, Cook, Hill, Rowbottom and Adam Morgan completes the top 6 after 4 laps of racing. This lap 5 of 16.
Yeah, just confirmation from the team. Tom Chilton on a brand new set of tyres. All 4 were changed.
Gordon Shedden just about to leave you as well, Alan. I think there was some grass which is cleared from the front grille there.
It's grass free at the front now.
That's good.
I didn't see it before.
So yeah, he's been off for a bit of a moment, cut the grass for the team here at Thruxton, and after that he's got rid of it from the front grille, and on his way he goes once again. But Gordon Shedden, what could have been a perfect weekend, has turned upside down, unfortunately, as Ash Sutton works his way through the club chicane for the 5th time of asking. Tom Ingram was 1.5 seconds back. Again, it looks like Tom Ingram might have been slightly quicker that time through. Yep, the gap comes down once again. 1.4 seconds between now Sutton and Ingram, and let's see what he can do over these next few laps as we work our way through now in towards the complex.
Yeah, that's right, Matt. The gap to Josh Cook has gone up slightly, though, as Josh Cook starts to get closed back in again by Jake Hill. They're in 4th position in the Laser Tools Racing BMW. Notice James Dorlin, he's fallen down the order a little bit. He's down into 12th place after finishing 7th in race 1. Aaron Taylor-Smith, his teammate who started today basically at the back of the grid, he's got himself up into 10th in the Toyota Corolla. So good progress here from Aaron Taylor-Smith.
Certainly is, yep, and just sits behind Darryl De Leon, actually, who finds himself now in 9th place. So the BMW's having a better run here in race number 2. A replay on the big screen. Tom Chilton very much sideways at Church Corner. A lot of smoke from that car, and no wonder he's had 4 brand new tyres on that machine, because they would have been flat spotted absolutely as he went through there. And well done to all of those who avoided him coming through that fast right-hander on the lap that he went sideways. So Tom Chilton, a replay on the big screen of what happened. Meantime, the fight out front. Jake Hill is now having to defend from Dan Rowbottom. He comes across the line with nothing really separating those two drivers, but has Jake Hill got the pace to close down Josh Cook? The answer to that is no at the minute, because he was a second slower than Josh Cook on that previous lap.
Yeah, Jake Hill under pressure from Dan Rowbottom as they come down to the complex here, and Rowbottom dives up the outside of Jake Hill's BMW, then switches sides for the run up towards Cobb Corner. Way up on 2 wheels is Hill, and now Rowbottom dives up the inside, up the curb. There's a bit sideways, there's a small touch, and Jake Hill just puts a couple of wheels onto the grass, and that's Dan Rowbottom through up into 4th place, and that is going to put Jake Hill under threat from Adam Morgan behind.
Yeah, he'll lose the momentum now, won't he? Because out of there, down towards the left-hander of Noble, you lose continuous speed, and with the driver behind continuing with some pace here, Adam Morgan is going to be the next one to try and make a move. But Jake Hill on the boost to try and defend, and Adam Morgan on the boost to try and attack as they work their way now down towards the right-hander of Church. Just shows how much these drivers are battling the cars. They're throwing them from side to side, and Adam Morgan has got the run. But again, Jake Hill is on the boost to try and defend, but with the tow as well up through Woodham Hill, Adam Morgan might be able to get the job done all the way around the outside into the club chicane. There's contact between the two of them. A slightest of touch on the right rear. Adam Morgan just about keeps it in a straight line. He parts the Thruxton barriers there. Luckily, they are made of soft stuff rather than hard stuff. But Adam Morgan, great save. Great to find a gap through those white boards. And on his way he goes once again.
Well, he made the gap anyway, didn't he? If there wasn't a gap there before. But he is now under pressure from Dan Camish, who's trying to make the most of that to gain a position. He can't quite make it. And then the returning Senna Proctor in 8th position. What a great return to the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship it is turning out to be for Senna Proctor. Very quick yesterday and is continuing that today. But more dramas in the pit lane.
Yeah, Mikey Doble into pit lane. I'm not sure after that engine change with Nick Halstead's car's engine. I'm not sure that's gone according to plan. Mikey Doble's car smoking away. Sam Osborne is in as well. He's having grass taken out the front of the car. That's a quick turnaround. Mikey Doble's is not going to be so quick.
What a shame again, the highs and lows of the British Touring Car Championship. Tom Chilton's going to be back in as well. I'm just wondering, as we rode on board with that replay with Adam Morgan, whether he had a kind of inkling in his mind what would actually be in those white barriers ahead of him, but he just went for it, and as you said, he had nowhere else really to go. Dan Rowbottom has got grass in the front of his car as well here, so this could be a drama for Dan Rowbottom, who finds himself inside the top 5. He surely will have to be heading for the pit lane before too much longer, because that car is definitely going to overheat. So what happened there with Robo, we'll have to find out very shortly, but it does mean Jake Hill now is ahead and a little bit further up the road.
And Tom Chilton's back into pit lane. He's having a huge amount of grass taken out from the front of the car. So one pit stop for a whole new fresh set of tyres, a second pit stop for essentially the grass from a football field being blown out from the front of the car. They've not finished. He's turned off the engine. I think he's getting out of the car.
Meanwhile, some of that grass you described, Matt, on Dan Rowbottom's car has just come out because he took so much curb through the chicane. It sort of bounced some of the grass out of the radiator inlets, but not sure if it was all of it. So we'll see if Dan Rowbottom's able to continue. But there's obviously been several drivers who have gone sort of off track during the course of this race. And interestingly, Matt, the lap times on the previous lap have gone up a lot. I wonder where Mikey Doble has had that engine problem, whether it's left some kind of fluid on the circuit, and a few drivers are having moments. Yeah,
maybe a few just running wide, but you're absolutely right. Down to the 118s or 119s for most of the top 10. We've got a battle on now for second place because Tom Ingram is under attack from Josh Cook once again. The other way that Robo might be able to get rid of that grass is get tucked right up behind Jake Hill, and then that'll add an effect to just make sure that that blows out. So we'll try his best there.
Tom Chilton climbing out of the car, gets his helmet off. He's with his engineer, Barry Plowman. I might see if I can get a quick comment from Tom Chilton, because the story of his race is still a little bit of a mystery to us, isn't it? And I think it's a bit of a mystery to Barry Plowman, his engineer, as well. The two of them are locked in conversation, so maybe I'll not get the chance to speak to Tom, but it might be rather nice if I can dive in. And Tom, we don't know your story of this race. It's a perplexing one for us. What's been up?
Yeah, a bit frustrated, to be honest. I just turned into church and I had uncontrollable oversteer, to say the least. I love drifting, I love left foot braking and controlling it, but I could not hang on to that thing at all.
Hence a new set of tyres.
Then, because I flat spotted them at church, and I thought, well, let's put some new tyres on and go again, go for a faster slap. And then I was getting IPS errors flashing on my dashboard, which meant hybrid wasn't working, turbo boost wasn't working. And then I went into Noble, and I wasn't going crazy fast, and the oversteer kicked in, and it spat me off on the exit. And I'm just on my own, cruising around. So I went off at Noble and Church with oversteer, and I was like, it is impossible to hang on to.
End of story.
Yeah, end of story, yeah.
Okay, mate, thank you very much indeed. Tom Chilton is a retirement in pit lane.
Thanks, Alan. Yep, and I've also noticed, Josh, that Jake Hill's got a bit of grass in his front grille as well, so they're all kind of copping the grass somewhere. Yeah,
while Alan was talking, on the big screens, we saw, firstly, Tom Ingram went a little bit wide, which I think brought grass on the track, and then Dan Rowbottom went off, and I guess all the grass, when Rowbottom went off, then got flicked into Jake Hill's car. But again, that was out of Noble. We just heard from Tom Chilton that he was having a moment there. I just wonder if something's on the track, and that's why the lap times aren't as quick as earlier, and there's lots of drivers having moments. Perhaps it wasn't just Tom Chilton's car,
where Mikey Doble's car once was in front of the garage, the marshals are now dealing with fluid on the concrete.
I think that answers the question, doesn't it?
Certainly does, yep. So fluid has been dropped in the pit lane, but that could have been on the circuit as well from Mikey Doble's car. They do push the limits nowadays, though, don't they? Through Noble, right out towards the edge of the circuit. They're all taking as much as they possibly can from this circuit. And this battle between Jake Hill and Dan Rowbottom has not relented whatsoever. And Robo goes back to the inside line, down towards the club chicane. It's a move done before they even get to the first part of it. So Rowbottom now back ahead of Jake Hill, but he might get the flick back on towards the start-finish line. It's going to be acceleration down towards the line here. Jake Hill has run out completely of boost for this race, whereas Rowbottom, now he goes across the line, has also run out as well. So they're both even, no boost left within this race, but the battle for fourth place is well and truly on again.
Yeah, this lap 12 of 16, there's still 5 laps to go. Big lock up from Jake Hill as he gets the car slowed down for the complex, but he managed to hold on. We've got a slow Napa racing car, that's Sam Osborne, who's just been into the pit lane, so just letting the other cars through. The lead gap, that keeps fluctuating backwards and forwards, but it's all around 2 seconds between Ash Sutton and Tom Ingram, so doesn't seem like Ingram's going to be able to challenge unless he can find a real burst of speed in the final laps of the race. And then Josh Cook is a similar gap back, really, but sort of one lap one driver's quicker, and then another lap one of the others will be faster.
Certainly is, yeah. Tom Ingram at the minute, still behind Ash Sutton by 1.8 seconds. On this lap, he's slower in Sector 1 and also slower in Sector 2. So Ash Sutton is managing to hold the gap very consistent over one of his main championship rivals at this early stage of the season. Those two come through the club chicane now for what's going to be the 12th time of asking. And Josh Cook still hanging on there in third position. We've got 3 cars now for fourth place. So Robo and Hill with Camish onto the tail of them as well here. So we've got a Napa racing sandwich with Jake Hill well and truly in the middle of it. But can he work his way through on Robo, or is Dan Camish going to make a move over the next few laps?
And it was Camish that was quickest on the previous lap, wasn't it? But not quite close enough to challenge. But Hill locks up again. He's all sideways. He's Jake Hill. So this is going to give Camish a chance, surely, out of the complex on lap 13 of the race. They go through Seagrave, the right-hander that takes them up towards Noble Corner. And round the outside comes Dan Camish. Jake Hill on the inside for Noble. They're both on the brakes. They're going to go side by side right round the corner, a bit sideways, Jake Hill, but he stays ahead of Dan Camish for now. Yeah, the outside line there normally works, but Camish was not going through. Jake Hill had something to say about that, didn't he? So Hill holds on for the time being, but with all of this going on, it's just allowing Dan Rowbottom in the 32 machine to pull away up the road, and these two are going to be left to their own devices as they work their way now through the fast right-hander of Church Corner. Jake Hill is having to defend for his life at the minute. He's a little bit down this season compared to where he was last year, but Jake Hill, if he can get a top 5 finish in this race, it could do him the world of good. And also, if he gets a good draw for race number 3, he could be towards the head of the order, which he'll very much be relishing here at a circuit which last year he went very well at. Seems that something's happened to Josh Cook, because he's much further behind Tom Ingram than he once was. A gap of 3 seconds between Ingram and Cook. So I'm not sure if Josh Cook's the latest driver to have had a moment out there. But that battle for 5th place between Jake Hill and Dan Camish. No lock-up this time from Hill, so Camish can't really turn that into a challenge. Behind, you've got Senna Proctor, Adam Morgan, then Aaron Taylor-Smith. So Aaron Taylor-Smith in 9th position, having a really strong race, and the car ahead of him, Adam Morgan, is going to be given a track limit penalty of 10 seconds. Not good news at all, is it? So that's not what we wanted for the number 33 machine, unfortunately. So Adam Morgan, who was riding the crest of the wave before this weekend, things just seem to be coming undone at this 4th meeting of the season. But for Aaron Taylor-Smith, as you said, inside the top 10, this would be his best performance of the season so far. He has not featured inside the top 10, but again, if he finds himself somewhere inside the top 12, he might have a possibility of getting that reversal for race number 3. Adam Morgan trying to fight back now on Senna Proctor up through Woodham Hill. Great place to be standing this weekend with a new viewing area down there, and you're about to see Adam Morgan try to make the move on Senna Proctor. The two Hyundais going side by side. Eventually they have to get back into one line, and it's Senna Proctor who holds on to the position, but Adam Morgan tries once more on the run down towards Allard. He's inside, he's outside, he's then going to be once again behind, but all of this is just bringing again the man we just mentioned, Aaron Taylor-Smith, into the mix. Yeah, and of course Adam Morgan's going to get that 10-second penalty, I believe, so therefore Senna Proctor doesn't necessarily need to defend, but it's quite nice to have the cushion of his teammate between himself and Aaron Taylor-Smith. But Adam Morgan very keen in the Draper Tools liveried Team Virtue car to find a way through, hopped up over the curbs, but Senna Proctor continues to stay there in 7th position. The two-time winner in the championship, the Scotsman, is still there in what is 7th position on the road and in the race.
For 5th place, Jake Hill is still just managing to hold on ahead of Dan Camish, but he had a few laps where he was under some big pressure, but all of a sudden Jake Hill has just stabilised the gap once again. They've lost touch to Dan Rowbottom, who continues to sit there in 4th position, and Josh Cook, as you mentioned, has lost a huge amount of ground to the top 2, Josh, so not too sure what's happened there, but again, maybe just saving a few things as he works his way towards the end of this race. But for the battle for 5th place, it has now changed, because Camish on the run down through Woodham Hill, he goes round the outside, and again that's a move we see time and time again here at the Thruxton circuit, and Jake Hill for now on this last lap which we're about to start has dropped behind Dan Camish.
And Ash Sutton, for the final time in this race, turns his way through the complex. He's almost going to lap Gordon Shedden, who's been one of those pit visitors during the course of this race. He's 3 seconds ahead of Tom Ingram is Ash Sutton. Then you've got Cook, Rowbottom, the new 5th place man, Dan Camish, ahead of Jake Hill, Senna Proctor, Adam Morgan, and a problem for Aaron Taylor-Smith. Aaron Taylor-Smith's off the circuit. I think he's got damage of some description, and we thought he was going to get his first top 10, and I don't know if Aaron Taylor-Smith's going to make it to the end of the race, Matt.
What a shame. Just when it was looking good for his best performance of the season, he is going to be out, and he's going to be a non-finisher, which means he's going to be at the back of the grid for race number 3. But from the one end to the other, Ash Sutton, who's been absolutely dominant since the red lights went out in race number 2, he blasted away and he hasn't looked back since. Here at Thruxton, he's been a 6-time winner. We're about to make that 7. The only man who's taken 2 wins in the championship so far this year. Let's make that 3, because Ash Sutton, with 100 years of Napa on the side of the car, comes through to win round number 11 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. Tom Ingram comes through next in the Team Virtue Hyundai. He'll pick up his next podium of the season. That now gives him what's going to be 8 podiums out of the 11 races, and for 3rd place it will be Josh Cook, so he stays where he started, but still a 2nd podium of the weekend for him, and some valuable points to try and claw his way back up the championship order. Further back it was 4th place for Dan Rowbottom and 5th place for Dan Camish, making it 3 Napa Racing Ford Focuses in the top 5 once again. 6th place goes to Jake Hill. Again, another solid top 6 performance for him. And then Senna Proctor and James Dorlin are in the top 8. Chris Smiley comes through to be the first of our Restart Racing Hyundais across the line. And Daryl De Leon makes it 2 BMWs inside the top 10. The independent win for the 2nd time today goes the way of Josh Cook. 2nd in independence is Chris Smiley. And 3rd went the way of Dan Lloyd, just outside the top 10. But what a race that was for Ash Sutton. From when the lights went out, Josh, he was away just like a scalded cat, and that was an immense start, an immense race for the 4-time champion.
That's right, his starts have just been amazing, haven't they, the last few weeks. At Snetterton, he was gaining positions off the line, and he's done it again here at Thruxton. And that, for Ash Sutton, is his 7th win at this circuit in the championship. 7 wins have also gone the way here. Van Muller, Fabrizio Giovanardi and Gordon Shedden. Only one driver has won more than 7 races here at Thruxton. Of course, that is Josh Cook. But for Ash Sutton, a 7th win at this venue, and a pretty commanding victory it was too, because that first flying lap, lap 2 of the race, you said it, mate, he pulled over a second away from Tom Ingram, and then he sort of paced it, I think, for a few laps, and then towards the end he pulled even further away, a gap of 4 seconds at the checkered flag.
Certainly did, yep. And to add insult to injury for Tom Ingram, Ash Sutton, of course, led every lap, so he gets an extra point for that to go with his 20. And, of course, he got the fastest lap as well on a 1:15.254, which breaks his lap record from last year. So we've gone half a second quicker, as you said, Josh, so an extra 2 points to Ash Sutton. So just as Ingram was trying to bring the gap down, it goes back up once again. But, of course, with the reversal, it does mean that Ingram will have a place ahead of Sutton on the grid, whether that be 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th or 12th. We'll have to wait and see when the draw is done. But it's a much different slowdown lap for Ash Sutton this time round. It was a quick one to end race number 1 to get back to the team. This time it's taken in all the applause from all the fans here at Thruxton. He brings himself now into the Toka technical check area, and with that he has a 14-point championship lead as we head towards race 3. Tom Ingram is still 2nd for Team Virtue, and Jake Hill, with that 5th place, moves on to 112 points, just 1 point clear now now of Dan Camish, another man who is making his way up the championship standings as well. The third of our Napa Racing cars there in 5th place, and just 1 point back is going to be Dan Rowbottom. So really good weekend so far for Napa Racing. They've taken their first win of the weekend, but as we said, only one man so far this year has taken more than one win, and that is now Ash Sutton with 3 wins to his name. So as we head towards the halfway point of the season, next time out at Alton Park, he's going to hopefully have himself in a good position. But we've still got one race to come this afternoon, and of course the 3 at Alton Park before we get to the halfway stage. But Ash Sutton looks good. He's through Toka technical check area. The ride height has been done, the weigh-in has been done, and Ash Sutton, as he works his way down to Parc Ferme, I'm sure it's going to be a very happy Ash Sutton once again. The team will be standing by, and of course he'll take the plaudits on the top step of the podium. Wins by 3.8 seconds ahead of Tom Ingram. It was a very, very comfortable margin indeed, and standing by to greet that Napa Racing Ford Focus is Mr. Alan Hyde.
Here comes Ash Sutton. The lights are flashing. He brings the Ford Focus up towards the number 1 board down in Parc Ferme. Immediately the Goodyear technician puts the tyre pressure nozzle into the tyres and writes down the data, and Ash climbs straight out of the car, straight over to Ellie, his partner and mum of his 2 children, then to Steve Richardson, the boss of Napa Racing, and hugs all the way down the line with the team, still with his helmet on, and Pete Osborne, the team owner, team principal, and the rest of the team all queuing up to offer their congratulations to the driver that yesterday took pole. In race 1 it wasn't to be, but boy, what a start. And thank you, Lou. So Louise just telling me that ITV are once again in a break, which means that I'll be able to get the first word for everyone here at Thruxton, the first word from the race winner, and he gives his helmet over to the team for safekeeping. Boy, oh boy, what a rocket ship start.
I don't think we just made it rear-wheel drive, wouldn't they? Jesus.
That was amazing.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, it's something that we practiced a hell of a lot when I first got back in front-wheel drive, and because we knew how weak they were compared to a rear-wheel drive car, and we've just been chipping away at it, and that was awesome. Don't get me wrong, I think there was an advocate of everyone else maybe had a not so great one, but...
Did it take you by surprise?
The initial phase, I was like, oh, we're moving. And it wasn't when I was in the sandwich and suddenly on the back of Tom, I was like, oh, we're really moving. So, yeah, really pleased with that, really pleased with the result. I'm not quite sure what happened in the middle of the race. There must have been some form of oil or water or drops.
So we can only surmise, but Mikey Doble's engine let go.
Yeah, I nearly died 3 times on one lap because it was like an ice ring. So I think no doubt the other guys experienced it. But yeah, that was a wake-up call in the middle of the race when you thought you had it all under control.
Josh, our commentator at the complex, said, oh, hello, the lap times are going up a little bit.
Yeah, we were losing like nearly a second a lap just because you didn't know what you were driving into. So kind of got your head around that and settled back in. But yeah, mega, it was nice to do it all at the very beginning and get stuck in.
You know, we often talk about your old mate Josh Cook being the king of Thruxton. You're getting ever closer, you know, 7 wins here.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I love this place. I mean, we could have had 8, couldn't we? Let's be honest, if race 1 went our way a little bit. But, yeah, we'll keep chipping away, survive race 3.
Top man Ash, thank you very much indeed. He's getting pulled off to chat to Louise Goodman on ITV.